Good afternoon. I'm Shannon Kendrick, Director of Strategic Partnerships and Intergovernmental Affairs at the Peace Corps. Today, we have over 200 attendees watching from all parts of the world, and I would like to welcome you all to our event to celebrate the strategic partnership between our agency and Arizona State University formed this spring around the collaborative use of an incredible device called the SolarSPELL Digital Library. SolarSPELL has been a game changer for our volunteers and the communities they serve in the work of promoting world peace and friendship around the world. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to brief you on a few technical instructions. Today's Zoom call does not have a chat feature or a raise hand function. There will not be Q&A. However, if you find that you have a question or if you would like to reach any of us, contact information will be shared at the end of this presentation. Today, you will hear from ASU President Michael Crow, Peace Corps Director Jody Olson, and SolarSPELL founder Laura Hausman. But first, we want to start off by showing you a short video about SolarSPELL and the work of Peace Corps volunteers in the field. Let's watch.
SolarSPELL is a portable, rugged, solar-powered digital library that allows learners to connect to an offline server using smartphones, tablets, and laptops to freely surf the thousands of open-access educational resources. It's portable enough to fit in your backpack and rugged enough to withstand heat, humidity, dirt, sand, and rain. The SolarSPELL requires no internet, electricity, or data, yet connects curious minds to a world of information. It looks and feels like you're online, so students and teachers can develop critical information literacy and digital skills, even without the internet. Most importantly, we curate localized content so that teachers and students can see themselves in the books and videos on the library. Since 2015, SolarSPELL has worked alongside Peace Corps posts and volunteers, training both PCVs and local counterparts to introduce the SolarSPELL libraries to their schools and communities, building the skills needed for long-term, sustainable use of SolarSPELL libraries. Working with Peace Corps volunteers has proven the most effective implementation strategy for introducing, supporting, and expanding SolarSPELL digital libraries across remote and rural locations around the world.
In the rural Pacific island that I served on, there was no internet.
My community benefited from SolarSPELL when the teachers took the unit into their own hands to encourage digital literacy skills with their students. SolarSPELL offers the opportunity to parts of the world where digital literacy lacks.
I think that SolarSPELL is an amazing tool for bridging the digital divide in rural communities such as mine in Chibuye, Rwanda.
SolarSPELL digital libraries can address any topic for any information need. Together with Peace Corps, we can empower learners globally with localized educational information and the training to build 21st century skills in communities around the world.
I hope you enjoyed that brief trip into the Peace Corps field to see for yourself what happens in the communities we serve when SolarSPELL, our volunteers, and our friends at ASU are in action. Now, to share a little history about the SolarSPELL initiative and its relationship with the Peace Corps, I would like to introduce its founder, Laura Hausman. Hausman serves as an associate professor at Arizona State University, holding a joint appointment in the School for the Future of Innovation and Society and the Polytechnic School. Her action-oriented workforces focuses on the role for new technologies in developing countries, particularly in education. She brings her passion for experiential learning to the classroom and beyond through real-world focused, project-based courses that bring students and student-built technology to the field for implementation. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you, Shannon. And a sincere thank you to everyone who's taking the time to join us in celebrating this exciting event today. And while this partnership has been about 2 years in the making, my own journey began 10 years ago when I first traveled to remote rural schools in the Caribbean and the Pacific Islands and spoke with teachers there, who had been handed tablets or laptops and were told simply, transform how you teach using this new technology to bring about amazing results. Go. But what they didn't receive was training or support or connectivity or even electricity. So how do you transform education under these circumstances? And of course, this isn't just about the teachers. All of these kids around the world are still receiving the kind of education that leads to inequalities, digital and otherwise, only continuing to worsen. So I knew I wanted to do something about this, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. So I started involving my students and brought in other faculty members because I knew we needed innovative, fresh ideas, as well as diverse skill sets far beyond my own to address complex problems like this. And even though I knew in my heart of hearts that this problem wasn't a technology problem, well, my team still set about mainly trying to address the technology problem. And a few creative ideas and prototypes later, I'm really happy to say that we've got some pretty innovative technology that enables us to bring a digital library to places that don't have electricity or internet connectivity. And by that point, we had realized that if schools weren't going to get the internet, we were going to need to bring the content to them and localize it so that they could see themselves in what they were learning. So we started creating a library. But what hadn't been addressed and what I was really at a loss for what to do about was teacher training and ongoing support. And how do you really cultivate the skills that take far more than a day or a week to develop? Like information literacy skills, or critical thinking skills, how to carry out research and to know whether information is trustworthy or fake news. These skills are not developed overnight, and they're not developed at all in the absence of internet. So what do we do in places where people have little to no internet access, or where the internet is expensive or slow or on people's phones and paid for by the byte? Which, by the way, is everywhere that SolarSPELL is most needed. So great, we had the innovative technology, we had the localized information, but how are we going to pull off the necessary long-term teacher training and support when local resources to support this don't exist and the SolarSPELL team is based in the US? I really didn't have an answer to this. I had hit a wall and I didn't know how to move forward. And then one day, a Peace Corps volunteer emailed me. Melody was stationed on a remote island in the Pacific and wanted to know how she could get involved. This technology seemed like something that would benefit her community. So I learned more about the Peace Corps, and I discovered that their volunteers are in it for the long haul, living for years in remote communities, helping build local capacities with a far more realistic understanding of the time span it takes to actually build skills. And it was working with Melody that ultimately inspired me to challenge my university students 5 years ago in their project-based class to come up with an offline, rugged, ultra-portable, solar-powered digital library that would fit into a Peace Corps volunteer's backpack. And they did it. And so I pitched this idea to 2 Peace Corps posts in the Pacific, and they both said, yes, please come. We think our volunteers would benefit from this library. And then when volunteers contact us, just like with Courtney, who you'll hear from next, they reach out because they believe their communities would benefit. And that's how you know you've really found the right partner. And I'll be the first to say that things haven't all been perfect from day one, but everything we've learned from going to the field and returning to the field and asking our users what we can do to improve has gone back into making the SolarSPELL better and better. And here we are today. This agreement excites me because this partnership with the Peace Corps is the beginning of a journey to equip thousands more Peace Corps volunteers with SolarSPELL digital libraries filled with locally relevant educational resources. And Peace Corps volunteers, in turn, do the crucial long-term work of building capacities locally and improving educational opportunities in low-resource communities for hundreds of thousands of teachers, students, and learners around the world. I truly believe that together, we can make quality education possible for learners around the world. I invite you to contact us at SolarSPELL if you'd like to join us in making this vision a reality.
Thank you, Laura, for sharing the history of SolarSPELL and the relationship with Peace Corps. We have definitely had an incredible relationship and experience thus far. So how has this device enhanced our volunteer efforts in the field? What difference has it made? What better way to know the impact of this device than to hear directly from a returned Peace Corps volunteer? Courtney Finkbeyer served at our Fiji post from August 2017 to November 2019 and is now working at ASU SolarSPELL and has a personal account to share about her volunteer experience using the SolarSPELL digital library in the field. Let us welcome Courtney.
Hi, Shannon. Thank you. Very happy to be here today. As you said, my name is Courtney Finkbeiner. I served in Fiji on the island of Taveuni for 2 years as youth development volunteer with the Peace Corps. When I first heard about SolarSPELL, I knew immediately it would be a fantastic match for my village's primary school, which didn't have electricity or many other extra learning resources for teachers or for students. So I was thrilled to be one of the first sites that got SolarSPELL when they first came to Fiji. I attended the training with one of my teacher counterparts, and we then trained the rest of the teachers at my school. There was certainly a learning curve in adapting this new technology to our school, but it soon became a normal part of our teaching lives. Before we had it, my teachers would ask me if I had any resources myself on literacy or arts or whatever subject they were working on with their students. After we had the SolarSPELL, when they asked for resources, I would just say, "Have you checked the SolarSPELL?" And that would lead them into this treasure trove of content for the subject that they asked about, and so much more. We use the digital library in so many ways: to plan lessons, during class with the students, even in the physical library. While some students checked out their storybooks, others were at the SolarSPELL station, playing games to practice their multiplication tables. We also brought it into the village, and I went around helping some parents download English lesson videos to their phones for their kids at home. Really, it was for everyone at home. There's no such thing as a silver bullet in education, but SolarSPELL is an incredible tool to have in the toolbox. With all the different resources on it, the images, videos, interactive games, and the textbooks, it's really a whole toolbox in and of itself. SolarSPELL gave me and all of the teachers this great toolbox to use across all subjects with the kids, and it gave the students an avenue to gain technological and digital literacy skills to use throughout wherever their education takes them. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your service in Peace Corps, Courtney, and thanks so much for sharing such a great testimony of SolarSPELL's impact. Now, without further ado, we have come to our main event. After their introductions, we will hear a few remarks from Peace Corps Director Jody Olson and ASU President Michael Crow. Director Jody Olson was sworn into office as the 20th Director of the Peace Corps in March of 2018. Director Olson began her career as a Peace Corps volunteer, serving in Tunisia from 1966 to 1968. She has since served the agency in numerous leadership positions. Olson returned to the Peace Corps in 2018, and throughout her career, Olson has championed the expansion of service, learning, and international opportunities for Americans of all backgrounds. President Michael Crow is an educator, knowledge enterprise architect, science and technology policy scholar, and higher learning educator. He became the 16th president of Arizona State University in 2002 and has spearheaded ASU's rapid and groundbreaking transformative evolution into one of the world's best public metropolitan research universities. We will hear from Director Olson, followed by remarks from ASU President Crow. Now, let us welcome one of my favorite leaders, Director Jody Olson.
Thank you so much, Shannon. And thank you to President Crow for hosting this celebratory event. And I want to do an extra thank you to Arizona State University, which is the #8 Peace Corps recruiting university in the United States. So we have a long and wonderful history with Arizona State University. Many thanks to all the staff, SolarSPELL, ASU, Peace Corps that worked hard to get us to this moment of celebration. Peace Corps posts and ASU's SolarSPELL team have collaborated in multiple countries to provide training and to integrate SolarSPELL digital libraries through the use of the SolarSPELL units into local community-based capacity building projects. Since 2015, 5 years, SolarSPELL has distributed 358 kits and trained 302 Peace Corps volunteers in the Federated States of Micronesia, Tonga, Rwanda, Samoa, Comoros, Fiji, and Vanuatu, a lot of islands. This MOU highlights the ongoing desire for the Peace Corps and SolarSPELL to continue to collaborate in our development work for many years into the future. Through the implementation of the MOU, we seek to collaborate in order to offer more opportunities for volunteers to use technology to support capacity building efforts in the field and to build the capacity of local communities to utilize technology to strengthen their own communities. The final MOU between Peace Corps and Arizona State was signed on May 1st of this year. And I'm so happy that we are finally able to convene, albeit virtually, to celebrate this new partnership. And I want to reinforce many, many future years of collaboration. To Peace Corps volunteers, SolarSPELL is a gift in all that it will help volunteers integrate into community partners and school partners. Thank you. Thank you, Arizona State University, for this opportunity for partnership.
Thank you for those great remarks, Director Olson, and thanks so much for helping to drive this exciting strategic partnership. Now, a few words from President Crow, who was able to pre-record his message beforehand.
Hi, Michael Crow here. Sorry I can't be with you today on this exciting day where the Peace Corps and ASU are getting together to talk about what we can do with SolarSPELL, which is this fantastic technology, as we all know, which can greatly enhance teaching and learning opportunities without the limits of constraints like electricity and so forth and so on. So we're very excited to be partnering with the Peace Corps. We see the Peace Corps as one of the most important organizations that the United States government has ever built, an exemplar of a whole new logic, you know, sending talent and energy and creativity and youth and experience these days to countries around the world where we partner and solve problems and work together. And it's just been a fabulous, fabulous institution, and we're just very excited that we're a part of it. We've had a lot of ASU students become Peace Corps volunteers. I know we're in the top 10 in terms of producers of Peace Corps staff and Peace Corps volunteers, so we're very excited about that. We're also very excited to have this relationship since 2015, the last 5 years, as SolarSPELL has been evolving. Very excited about where we're headed with this overall. We're a firm believer that ingenuity, grit, focus, drive, ambition, and technology, when you bring those things together, you can do anything. You can take an entire curriculum, hundreds of digital libraries, and make them available to students literally anywhere, any place, any culture, any mechanism of delivery can work if you just have enough willpower to make things happen. And so we're very excited that we're looking at hundreds of additional allocations and distributions of the SolarSPELLs in Latin America and East Africa over the next couple of years. We look at this partnership as a starting point, a way to continue to move forward. And what I can say to you is that we will continue to evolve the platform, link with other technologies, work together to be a comprehensive, projectable partner to the Peace Corps as a comprehensive teaching, learning, and discovery institution, deeply committed to the attainment of all the things the Peace Corps stands for. So again, sorry I can't be there, and this is really a great day, and just thank you to everybody involved in making this happen. Thank you.
We are so grateful for the remarks from Director Olson and President Crow. It is your support that has made this partnership possible. We're so pleased to have come to this moment where we celebrate the growth of our collaboration by the establishment of a 5-year memorandum of understanding that will carry our strategic partnership into May 2025. By then, I am certain ASU students, led by Dr. Hausman, will have developed into more ways to impact the communities we serve abroad and even greater, to another level. It is wonderful to celebrate this transformative partnership, and thank you all for joining us for today's event. We hope you learned a lot and are excited about the great things we are doing to impact the world together.